Hi, I'm JD. Welcome to my channel. So today what we're going to do is we're going to replace a balance staff for an old Waltham pocket watch. This is a riveted staff. It's not a friction fit staff, so there's a procedure for replacing a riveted staff. So let's have a look at that really quickly. So as you can see here, this is the new balance staff with brand new pivots on the end. This is the old balance staff. So what we're going to do is set the new staff aside, and we're going to use the old staff for selecting the punches that are needed to put in the new balance. So the first step here is to actually find the right size hole to put the balance in where it's nice and snug, and I'm putting the balance staff in where the basically the lower part of the balance, and trying to make sure I get a super snug fit here. All right. So you always put it in one and then say, okay, that's way too snug, and then move it over to the next one. That's this one here. Now is that in? Look at it from the bottom to make sure it's seated nicely. So it is. So that's in nicely. So what I want to do now is just make sure that hole is centered, so I can go over the top of that balance like this, and I know that's the right hole, and then remove the balance carefully from that hole like that. Put that down here, and then go straight down, and that is the right hole right there. So then I've centered the staking set for that hole. Just make sure it's perfectly centered, and then tighten the staking set on the back. So that's centered for that hole. So now I know that that is where the balance goes. Sometimes it's difficult to actually see the hole that you're working on, so you just have to lower the centering punch until you find the hole, and there it is, right there. So now what I want to do is find the stake that will be flat and go over the collet where the balance is pushed down. Now you could call this cheating, but I'm looking at the Watch Repairer's Manual by Henry B. Fried, and I'm looking at the section on replacing the balance staff for a riveted staff, because this is indeed a riveted staff. So I don't mind cheating here because you don't do this job a lot, so you should always go back to your to research and figure out what the story is. So it says here the first step is to choose a hole in the staking die that closest fits around the roller post without binding. So I've done that. I've shown you that procedure. That was pretty easy. I centered the hole like I'm supposed to. Now I have to find a flat-faced hollow punch that fits over the hairspring shoulder of the staff without binding and rests upon the balance shoulder. So that's my next job. So as you can see in the lower camera, I've got my staking set here. Let me just open that and try not to hit my mouse. Let me just move that out of the way. There's a lot of stuff on the bottom here I don't want to hit. There we go. Just do that. So I've got a full staking set here, as you can see, and I want to pick a flat stake, so a flat nose stake here that will fit over the hairspring, the part of the shaft where the hairspring is. So let me just do some selection here. I'll move this out of the way, this particular staff out of the way. So I want to select that staff. It's kind of a guessing game. I can't say that my staffs are super well organized, but they're organized enough. Okay, that one there does not fit, so I need to get a little bit bigger than that. And it's just a matter of hunting, I think. It's goodwill hunting. And it's got to be a flat-faced stake, because you're going to be pushing the balance down onto this with this stake. So let me get this one here. So that one is too wide. This is Goldilocks and the 3 stakes. Try this one here. I'm using my old balance for this to get the No, that one's too small. Eventually I'll get it just right. I'm going to eyeball the stakes here and to see which ones seem to be potentially the right stake. This one here is, no, that's just a bit too small because it's hugging the diameter where the hairspring goes. So it needs to be a bit bigger than this one here. So I'm just going to eyeball that here, look at that and say, okay, what's bigger than this one here? Well, I can see two that might be bigger. So I'm going to get my stake grabbing device here and try this one here. This is a stake grabbing device, by the way. It just grabs the end of the stake, so it makes it easier. And then I'm going to go down with this one here and see if that one is... That one looks pretty good. I can now turn this around and actually have a look at how tight that is. But let me grab the other one first and see if that one is better. So that was, I think, that one there is probably too big. I think I'm not sure if I used this one already. Let me look down here on this and see if it's right. Yeah, that's too tight. That, my friends, is too tight. So it's going to be a matter of trial and error here. So it's too tight. It's Goldilocks and the 4 stakes. See if this one's good. So I think it's these 2 stakes here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to back this off a bit, and I just have to keep my old balances over there. So what I want to do is see how these fit, see how this fits in the in that balance. So I'm going to grab myself a piece of Rodico, and this is just to prevent me from losing the part. Okay, I'm going to grab the part like this, and I want to place that in the stake and see how it fits. Alright, so that's way too loose. I just had a look at the fit on here, and you can tell when you put it in. This one might be perfect here. I think I'll be able to use this one because it fits comfortably over the hairspring diameter, right? So I'll put this one back here, and then let's continue. So now it says in this amazing manual that the next punch I have to find is the exact same hole size as the previous punch, but it's going to be round because that's the punch that's going to be used to spread the rivet. So I've got to find that punch right now. So now I may have found the right punch, I'm not sure, but you can see that the face of this punch is rounded. So and it does fit over the diameter where the hairspring is. The question is, how tight tolerance is it, and is it tight enough to be able to spread the rivet on the balance? Now again, I'm using the old balance staff to do all the measurements, just so I don't risk damaging the pivots. So I'll just have a look at this here and see how tightly it fits. It's not bad, but if I could get one that's just a little tiny bit smaller, that would be very good. So I found the right punch here, and it's rounded and it fits over. Now the thing is, with this punch, I noticed that it's got a bite out of the edge of it. I'm not sure if that matters or not, but if you can look at that punch here, let me get that in front of you, you'll see the bite on the edge. I've used these before, but there is a rounded section that I can use. So what I do is I tap down, I rotate and tap down and rotate. And I've done that before. There is no rounded punch in my complete punching set that is the right size without that bite on the edge. So now the last one I need is the one that'll go completely over the shoulder of the balance, and that's the shoulder where that the balance is riveted onto. So I have to pick one that'll go flatly over the shoulder. This is almost it, and this is with very little tolerance, and this is to push to basically seat it home. So once you've got the balance on there, you got to use this one to seat it home. So I'm going to pull this out and have a quick look at to see what level this one is at. So let me just grab the balance again. I think I lost my piece of Rodico. So grab that balance, and then I want to I just want to see how that fits in here. So I'll just fit that in like this. That is not big enough, because that actually has to clear. This one has to clear the rim where the balance is driven into the balance staff is driven in. So I want to make sure that the balance goes over, and then the staff, I can seat that balance home with this particular stake. So I found the stake that is the closest to working here, I'll say. So it goes over it goes over that rim where the balance is, so I can seat this home with this stake. So that's the third stake. Put that down here, and it'll seat that home. So the first stake is, of course, the flat one, and this will help me drive the balance in. So this is the balance itself. So this would sit on top like this, like that, and I'd be driving that balance home, and then I would take the next one and the next one. So, and that's the way the balance goes. So what I need to do is actually stake it down. All right, let's do this operation. This makes me nervous usually. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this balance into the hole. Like that, very carefully. And then I need to grab the balance itself. I said balance, I meant balance staff. I need to grab the balance itself and then place that over the balance staff very carefully. And it actually looks like it clears. So I'm going to look down to see, because that looks like it's actually clearing the hole, so I don't need to push it in. You see, have a look. Yeah, it is flat, which means I can actually spread the rivet right now, unless this is the wrong staff. We're going to try this out though. Yeah, because that's in there now, but as I can see, I'll do the procedure though. So let me take this punch here. This will go all the way down. This is the flat one that clears the hairspring. So I go like this and clear that, and like this, and then we just tap that just a bit to make sure it's down all the way. Now I'm using a watchmaker's mallet here, and it's got a nice brass end to it, so just tap that lightly like so. And that is seated all the way down. Again, I'm concerned because this is a riveted staff. So when I spread the rivet, it should grab the balance. It should grab. And that rivet is ever so slightly higher than that, so I want to go over the top like this. And now I have to spread that rivet. So I'll tap it and turn it. So tap down and turn. See if I can give you a little bit better view here. You can see me panicking here as I do this. So tap and turn. So then I turn, 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 and there. Now is that riveted on, yes or no? That's the question. It looks like it's not moving. Now the test, they say, is to actually take the rivet, the riveting stake, and then push down and then try to turn the balance and see what happens. Still needs to be riveted a bit more, I think. Yeah, we're going to tap that again. I'm going to have a look at that and see what I've got. That spread the rivet on there. Yep, that looks pretty good there. Now let me lift this up here and see what this thing looks like. We just lift it up out of the hole. And I'm going to just examine that really closely under the microscope. I'll be right back. So that's it. So one thing I couldn't do here is I couldn't spread that rivet out any more than it's spread now. So I was using the rounded stake here, and I was rotating it to spread that rivet. And then I could not use the flat stake to flatten the rivet over the top, because it looks like once I've got that other stake in there and I spread the rivet, there's no material left to flatten, so it doesn't work. When I put this stake right over the top, it's absolutely flush with the balance arm, so I won't have an issue with respect to the hairspring going on. And it looks like the balance staff is tight in there, so we shall see, right? So I don't want to pound that anymore. If I've got an issue with it not being tight, then I'll end up having to order another balance staff. But we'll test this on the watch first to make sure this runs no problem. So that's the technique of actually putting on an actual riveted balance staff onto a balance. So I hope you enjoyed this. A little bit long maybe today, but it's a tough job, and you got to make sure you do it right. You got to make sure you pick the right stakes and don't screw it up. So please don't do things like using glue or something like that. So that's good. So again, I don't know if any adjustments are required, but I'm going to take this balance staff now and very carefully place it in the movement. So let's just lower this into the movement here very carefully. Like that, and then I'll put the arm on top. This is the arm for the balance. So just again, I want to very carefully put this on top, because it's very touchy stuff. I don't want to break the pivot on the end, so I'll just do this and then see if I can get that in place. I'm not sure if that's in place properly. Let me get a blower here and see what happens. Yep, just destroy everything in my office here. There we go. Looks like it's spinning nicely, so that should work. So there you go. That's how you replace the balance staff for a pocket watch. Thanks a lot. Peace out, and I'll see you next time. And just one quick note to Phil, whose watch this is. The upper jewel on the bounce cock is all ratted up. So that upper jewel and setting needs to be replaced. That's going to take a little bit more time than I thought, because it's in bad condition, that jewel. So I either have to find a jewel and setting, or I have to somehow replace just that jewel out of that setting. So this could be a bit longer than I thought. So stand by. We're still working on it. We got the balance now, so, and the balance staff is in there, which is a good job, and we'll continue. Thanks a lot for watching my videos. And do I have a watch check for you here? Let me grab this bounce cock here. And what am I wearing? I'm wearing the Amphibia Reef Diver. You would not believe how good the loom is on this thing around the bezel. Phenomenal. And I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching my videos.